Hi, my name is Rebecca, and today I'll be talking about my grandma, or my Popo, who can speak 8 languages, and how she got to learn all of that. Here's a quick introduction of my family with the help of a family tree. So, in my family, there's me, and I have one brother. There's my mom, and then there's my dad, and my dad only has one sister. She got married to my uncle, and I only have one immediate cousin. Her name is Claire. There's my grandpa and my grandma, and my grandma has a lot of siblings. In their family, it's supposed to be 9 sisters and 4 brothers. There's my great grandma. She's from Malacca. And then there's my great grandfather, and he's from Hainan Island. Also, my great grandma is Peranakan, so that's quite a big thing in my family. So, this is the Cho family on my grandma's side, and I'm in the Ma family, and my mom's in the Wu family, and my uncle and my cousin are in the Spencer family because my uncle's Eurasian. So here's some photos of me and my grandma with my family. So who was in the Cho family? After asking my dad and doing some research, I found some notable figures. My great-grandfather's name is Cho Tong Kui, and he founded Pei Chun Public School. His eldest son, my first grand-uncle, is Cho Jok Kim, who was quite successful back in the day, and my grandma is the 7th sister out of the 9 sisters. And after doing a bit more digging, I found this bizarre news article about how my great-grandma paid 1.2 million bail for my grand-uncle. Anyway, moving on to my interview with Popo, I asked her to introduce herself.
名叫石义珠，我就是在织路部，从小就在织路部。我爸爸是做地产的，
地產
呃，selling houses property
OK，
property
講到功夫啊，
廣府啊，OK 講廣府啊嚇，我嘅名叫做石玉芝，我老豆係做地產嘅，我哋好細就出咗新加坡嚟讀書，
從邊度？
喺新加坡讀 convent school，我哋大咗，我哋就出嚟做工，我爸爸媽媽就出咗嚟新加坡。
So who were my great-grandparents? My great-grandfather, Cho Tong Kui, was from Hainan Island. He met my great-grandma when he was a gardener at her house in Malacca. And my great-grandma was given away to the wealthy Tan family in Malacca as they couldn't bear children themselves. I asked my grandma how she managed to learn so many languages from a young age and what language she used to speak to my great-grandma.
我做咩我會識佢講好多話呢？因為我媽媽有好多工人，一個人一個工人唔同識嘅，就變咗我哋做得講8種話㗎。I can speak 8 language.
So what is the 8?
8 language is Hainanese is my language, so I don't seldom speak. Okay, and my mother mostly speak Malay. I can speak Malay, and all the maid speaking Cantonese. I can speak Cantonese, Hokkien, K, Teochew, Malay.
Wow,
8 English.
To sum up, Hainanese was spoken between my great-grandparents. My great-grandma only picked it up after marriage. Baba Malay was the lingua franca in Malaya at that time, and Cantonese was learned by the children as their family hired a lot of amatie, whom I later learned came from Guangdong. These are not my family's amatie, but they were type of maids that wore white top, black pants, and had a long black braid behind them. So what languages did my grandma and my grandpa speak?
我哋大咗，我哋出嚟自由咯，咪結婚咯。
你公公係講咩話？
公公同我哋係講海南話啦。And then 好細嘅時候咧，我媽媽就擠我哋去出嚟讀書咧，呢度一個，嗰度一個，就冇同我嘅爸爸媽媽喺埋一齊多嘅。你喺屋企咧，我哋就係講廣府話，因為我媽媽係嗰啲 Beranak 根嚟嘅。
Why you never speak Malay?
公公 said cannot speak Malay， 唔得講馬來話。講馬來話下 whole day you speak Malay。
Growing up, my grandpa spoke to my grandma in Hainanese, even though he was Cantonese. They spoke a mix of Cantonese and Hainanese at home. But she also spoke Cantonese to her mother, as my great-grandma was Peranakan. Though Malay was spoken between the siblings as they were all from Malaya, Malay was seldom used as my grandfather didn't want to speak Malay. So where was my great-grandmother from, and what languages did she speak?
Then your mother is from Malaysia.
Malaysia,
Which
Malacca,
part?
Malacca,
Then
Malacca Baba. Malacca Baba, she married my father, he had to go to Jelebu. Because my mother family side 我媽媽嗰邊嘅人咧，佢嘅 father 咧好有錢嘅， then 佢嘅 father 嘅老婆係馬來人。
My great grandma was Peranakan. Her father was Malay and her mother was Chinese. They resided in Malacca and spoke Baba Malay and Cantonese. And the Cantonese was mainly because of their amate. So where was my great grandfather from and what languages did he speak?
中國 China 海南島。
不過你嘅媽媽得講海南。
我嘅媽媽就識講海南話，我嘅媽媽係 Cantonese 嚟嘅，爸爸嚟嘅，Malacca 爸爸嚟嘅，佢識講海南話嘅，佢跟咗我嘅爸爸，佢就識講海南話啦，好快啲講啊。
So before married can speak.
Before married 唔識講啊。
Then 佢哋講咩？
講我嘅爸爸唔識講大眾話㗎。
喂，你嘅爸爸得講廣東話？
我嘅爸爸淨係識講海南話。
哦。
That's why my mother know Popo know like that.
So only after married then she learn.
After married he learn.
My great-grandfather was from Hainan Island and could only speak Hainanese. As mentioned, he was the gardener for my great-grandmother's rich family. After they got married, they moved to Jelebu, which is near KL. Afterwards, they came to Singapore looking for a better life, and my great-grandfather was in a few businesses, including property, and he also set up a school. Now I'll be talking about how my grandma learned English.
That means you learn English?
Go to English school lor. Beginning I go to Chinese school from Jelebu, from Chinese school. After I come to Singapore and then I join English school.
So summing up, according to generation, my grandma and her siblings spoke Cantonese and Hainanese, and the Amazias that looked after them spoke Cantonese as well. They then switched to more Cantonese as most of them married Cantonese men, including my grandma. So moving down one generation, my dad and his cousins can speak Cantonese and a bit of Hainanese, but between themselves they speak English. My family is currently scattered all around the world, but we're still very friendly with each other. This is the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about my father's side of the family, and there are actually a lot more interesting stories, but that's for another time. Thank you!